like, where is Ron Thorn, and wait a minute, what happened? Hey YouTube, it's Ashley Offset. So just really quickly, I wanted to come on because something's been on my mind. I was perusing websites as I do for guitars, as you might know. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I saw a custom shop guitar. So in my fashion, I'm going through meticulously looking at pictures, looking at a certificate of authenticity on this Fender Custom Shop guitar. And maybe I'm a little bit late to the game, but I'm sure not everyone knows this. So let's go ahead and dive into it. But I'm looking at the COA, and Ron Thorn isn't listed as the director of the custom shop, and his signature is not on the COA. But the reason I want to talk about this is because I was clued into Ron Thorn not too long ago. I would say at the beginning of the year, there was this amazing guitar that I was 100% sure I was going to buy. It's called the Elma Combo. So there were 50 made, I believe, 25 strats and 25 tellies. A fairly very limited run. So they basically took reclaimed wood from the Elma Combo club where legends have played, including Stevie Ray Vaughan, and they made these guitars. Specifically, Ron Thorn did. And I was like, okay, cool. I've heard his name, but let's dive in a little more since I'm so interested in these guitars. Now, the funny thing about that is it was a big deal because these were very special guitars. It was a big deal because of the price tag and the investment and the decision-making process that goes into kind of deciding that you want something like that. I'm more of a collector than a player, as you know. I would much rather be a better player than a collector, but it is what it is. Anyway, I made a big event of it. I told my husband, I told some of my family, we were all hanging out together. I was like, let me just show you the guitar, show you some YouTube videos, and show you actual footage of the Elma Combo. Let me tell you a little bit about Ron Thorn as I'm learning about him. And it was like the biggest deal ever. All right, well, I don't know if you've ever run into this issue, but sometimes I think I need something or deserve something more than my capability to acquire that thing. So yes, I knew the price tag of that guitar. I was willing to sacrifice whatever it took to get that guitar because I thought it was so awesome and so different. Reality by the end of the night hit me, and it was kind of like, I do have a family and I do have obligations, and to sacrifice that percent of our income on a guitar didn't make a whole lot of sense. And so I had to admit that to myself, and this might be easier for some of you than some of you out there know. No, I'm never buying that guitar. I'm never gonna think that I'm getting that guitar. And other people have the means to get the guitar. And then there's people like me who can think they will figure a way out to pay for it, but it's not responsible. And so the old me might have just gone ahead and done it and figured it out later. I've been really good at doing that in my lifetime, but this one just couldn't happen. And so I was like, okay, I literally cried leaving my family's house because I realized that I wasn't getting this guitar. And so I was afraid to even pull it up on the website because I knew that once I did, it would be gone. And sure enough, the next day it was gone. And I was like, okay, good. Well, someone else got it. So now I don't have to worry about wanting it again and trying to figure out how to get it. It's over. And then I got back on the website a few days after that, and the guitar was back. So I was like, oh God. So now I'm like, it's possible to get it still. So why is this thing back? So I emailed the shop that had it, and they were like, yeah, someone put a deposit in on it, and then they changed their mind. So the guitar never left our hands. It's still available. I didn't get it. All this to say, I'm going to show you the Elma Combo. It's a really cool guitar. Now there's one on Reverb for 2 or 3 times more than it ever originally went for. I do not play that game, by the way. If someone's trying to flip something for that much more, it's just not in the cards. I'm not going to pay triple because you got it first. You know what I mean? So that got me introduced to Ron Thorn. And after that, it was so obvious how cool this guy really was. So a lot of these big time YouTubers that are in the guitar community that I really respect have actually had interviews and discussions with Ron Thorn. The thing about that is it wasn't as director of the custom shop, he was up here and you were down here. He really talked to the people that were interviewing him like a real person, but it goes further than that. I do want to say though, in those interviews, he would break down his thoughts on a Squire, his thoughts on an American Fender, his rationale for why a custom shop would be worth more. And, a lot of times he would reference one of his Squires as being his favorite guitar. And so I think after talking with a lot of you through comments here on YouTube, we are pretty much almost all in agreement that a Squire can be just as enjoyable and just as much of a great instrument as any other guitar. And so that whole notion that Squires are, for lack of better words, crap, I think that's well over with. I think that it's lame to make fun of things like that in 2023 because they have upped the ante so much. But for someone like Ron Thorn to go ahead and come out there and say, yes, I'm director of the custom shop. Yes, this is art to be respected. But let me tell you about my Squire. I just have the utmost respect for that because it's so refreshing to have honesty. But when you have ties into the work and like when you have a vested interest in making sure that your field or your niche does well, it's really hard to come through with that honesty. So that's one thing I appreciate about Ron. The other thing is I am a member of guitar forums. I read through because I like to learn about guitars, like I think a lot of us do. But the coolest thing ever is not only is Ron like active on social media, so you can follow his Instagram account. He has really cool videos of his inlay work that he does. He teaches classes on it, but he chimes in on these message boards. And so what that does is it leaves no room for speculation, no room for like a gossip mill or rumor mill where people are like, Fender's going to do this, or this is how many of these guitars they made, or this is the history of this guitar. Ron will just chime in and put it to rest. He'll just simply tell you what the facts are and what he knows from his perspective working at Fender. And I don't know that I've ever seen anyone else at that level be so transparent. And so he quickly won me over. Like if I were to get a master built guitar, I would have wanted it to be one of Ron's. Obviously, I really wanted that Elma Combo. But sure enough, like I get on the guitar forums and people are asking about it because they're noticing that his name isn't on these COAs anymore, the certificate of authenticity. Like where is Ron Thorn? And wait a minute, what happened? And he chimes in. So looking at this one, I resigned as director at the beginning of the year. It took them a few months to find a replacement and got new certificates printed. So just expanding on that a little bit, he says, my 5-year stint as the principal master builder and director at the Fender Custom Shop has concluded. I have reopened the Thorn Guitars workshop and look forward to making fresh sawdust at my own pace. All the great Carina, Koa, and Brazilian I hoarded has been seasoned an extra 5 years. Time to put it to use. I will continue teaching the week-long inlay classes in my shop also. Those have been very well received this year, and I may expand on the courses. Lastly, I feel like I'm back home here at TGP. Lots of familiar faces still hanging out. Did I miss anything? Are tan pants still in? Cheers, Ron. Ron is no longer the director of the custom shop, and he had a run of about 5 years with Fender, and in that time I think he did some really great work, and I think he was an asset. Such a humble guy. I'm gonna stop singing his praises. Obviously there's no way that I'm tied to Ron Thorn or that this is sponsored or anything like that. I just truly respect him that much. And on a different thread, back in June, someone said, are you still with Fender as the principal master builder but just no longer doing director duties? You just focusing on building guitars, or have you moved on completely? Either way, all the best to you and yours. And Ron said simply, I'm out. All this to say, like, I couldn't get this off my mind because it's always refreshing. Like, he's a member of our guitar community. Even more so than him being the director of the custom shop, I feel like he really just had the passion that we all have for these guitars. And so I think that's why he chimes in so much on message boards, and he does show his work on Instagram. And I know a lot of master builders have, Instagram accounts that link you to their latest Fender product, but this is something completely different to me. You could tell by the way he talked about his work and other guitars and the way he interacted with some of these other YouTubers and news outlets that he was something special from the perspective of someone who loves what they do, at least. I don't know the man at all. I think it's a loss for Fender, and I don't know why he resigned. There could be many reasons why someone would do that, and there should be no speculation here. But I did want to ask you guys, do you keep up with the master builders that work in the Fender Custom Shop or the different accounts online? And do you have a favorite master builder? And also, because I have no one else to talk to about this, literally the channel and the community here, what did you think of Ron Thorn? Or do you even know who I'm talking about? Or is this something you care about? But hey, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I know this isn't traditionally what I do. I do have more guitars to bring forth and talk about with you from my own collection, and I'm looking to grow it still. But I had to get this out there because when something's on my mind, I have to stay true to it. So instead of bringing you another guitar, I knew I wouldn't be as passionate about talking about that until I got this off my chest. Let me know what your thoughts about Ron Thorn no longer being at the custom shop. So I'll be interested to see who the new guy is, but I'll definitely be following Ron Thorn and seeing what he brings to the table moving forward. Well, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.